Lawyers for former President Donald Trump and his children are trying to block subpoenas from New York's Attorney General. Letitia James and her office are leading the civil investigation into the business practices of the Trump family. It's focused on whether the Trump organization misrepresented the value of properties in the state of New York. Meanwhile, the Manhattan District Attorney's Office is conducting its own parallel criminal probe. So Graham Cates has been following this investigation and is here with us now to talk a little bit more about this. So listen, Graham, this is kind of like the standard, I think, strategy of Trump lawyers. It's to delay as much as possible. They are fighting these subpoenas. They want them eliminated or delayed. How does the Manhattan DA's ongoing criminal investigation play into all of this?
Well, it certainly plays into the argument that they're making in trying to quash the subpoenas that have been given to Donald Trump and Ivanka Trump and Donald Trump Jr. They're saying, look, the Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, has assigned a couple of her own staff to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office. And that, coupled with some of the public statements she's made about the investigation, are evidence that they can't trust her office with these depositions, because it's different than when you do a grand jury testimony. It doesn't give the kids or Donald Trump, the Trump children who are adults, or Donald Trump immunity the way a grand jury testimony would. But of course, the two investigations are separate. Her office has assigned people to the Manhattan District Attorney's Office, but that means that they're no longer working with the civil investigation. They're effectively working as members of the Manhattan District Attorney's Office.
So, Graham, as you know, Eric Trump was already forced by the judge overseeing this case to give a deposition despite the ongoing Manhattan criminal investigation. So are the Trumps making a valid argument here?
You know, the interesting thing about that is it gives us the history to look at what the judge might do in this case, right? That when that happened, it was well known that the Manhattan District Attorney was running this parallel criminal investigation. In fact, it had been talked about all the way up to the Supreme Court. So there was no secret there that these two things were going on at the same time. But Eric Trump was compelled to testify, to do a deposition for the New York Attorney General's office. And so if history is any guide, it means that there's a real chance here that these three people are going to have to give their depositions too. But it does make a big difference, as Anne Marie said. That kind of the pattern with Donald Trump cases is you try to delay and fight every little step. And so now we're talking about these depositions were supposed to be this week. The Attorney General was asking for the former president to testify on Friday, and Ivanka and Donald Trump Jr. to testify earlier in the week. And now we're talking about what could be months-long delays, if not more, before there's a resolution to this and before this can move forward.
Have we heard a response from the New York Attorney General's office?
Yes, they said essentially what they've been saying all along whenever there's some sort of new motion in this case, which is that Donald Trump and the Trump organization are trying to delay justice. And they've said, we're committed to getting the depositions. But that's at this point, pretty par for the course when there's a motion like this in this investigation.
So when the Trump family attorneys filed with the court to stop the subpoenas, they made the contents of those subpoenas public. Could that help or hurt their case?
It certainly makes a difference in the public eye. Now we know kind of the breadth of what kind of information that they're looking for. But in terms of what might happen with these depositions, I don't know that the judge is going to take that into account when deciding what to do with these depositions.
So last month, former President Trump sued to end the Attorney General's investigation. What was his reasoning? What was his argument? And where do things stand with that suit?
That argument was actually pretty similar to what we saw in yesterday's motion, although it was a little more focused on the politics of Letitia James's career. The Trump organization and Donald Trump said that she, in her public statements, has been open about her motivation to, as they put it, take down Donald Trump. And I spoke to him about it. He said she's always been unfair to me, and implied that there's a kind of this inherent bias. And in both that lawsuit and in the motion yesterday to quash, they highlighted a recent appearance by Letitia James on The View, the talk show, where she said that this investigation was part of the unfinished business that she felt like she had that led her to stop running for governor of New York and focus on being attorney general. And they said that, that's a really recent evidence of what has been a long trend of her focusing on him in order to improve his political career. And of course, she and her office say this is just them again doing their politics as usual and trying to delay the case.
All right, we'll see where the investigation leads. Graham Cates, as always, my friend, thank you very much. Happy New Year.
You too. Thank you.
And you can read more of Graham's reporting on this investigation right now. Just head over to cbsnews.com/Trump.